Yeah, first of all, I apologize if there's any blur factor in this. The sun's in the background, so you can't really do much. Um, I wanted to talk about something. You see it above or below, depending on how you watch this. But apparently news broke over the past 24, 48 hours or so, if not the past weekend, that Archie Comics, courtesy of their Archie Action Series line, is going to be putting Mega Man on hiatus after issue 55. Of course, issue 53 starts in September, which is the issue after Worlds Collide, I believe. And issue 54 is in October, issue 55 is in November, so basically before the Christmas season. Now, understandably, there's a lot of people that are upset about this. Some have actually come to enjoy the Mega Man comics, and I admit that they seem to be pretty good. Even though I have never subscribed to a Mega Man comic, I have to admit that whatever I see sometimes does seem decent. But I think I can understand this. You see, there's a difference between cancellation and hiatus. Cancellation basically means that's it, the book is done. It's no longer going to be printed. Hiatus is basically the fact that it's being put on the shelf until further notice, or until they can come up with some new concepts. You see, the difference with Mega Man and Sonic, just in case you want to know, is Sonic has a huge world to explore and various characters, to interact with, either the comic exclusive characters or game characters. Now, true, Mega Man has the same thing in a sense, but most of his adventures, from what I've understood, have been based in one location, and that is the city and town that he lives in. Now, I'm sure he's expanded and had adventures in other places of the world, but mostly it seems that the setting has been the city. The setting has been, basically the overall atmosphere and environment that he's been used to. So, despite the fact that Mega Man has done decent numbers as far as sales go, why decide to put it on hiatus? Well, I think it's because they've got a lot going on right now. Mostly the Action comic line has two primary comics that are really doing well, I guess, in the numbers. And both have a connection with each other, especially as far as storyline goes. Mega Man has none of that. Mega Man doesn't have an extended, doesn't have a spin-off book to help expand or connect certain story arcs with, possibly extend with those extended versions of them. You take a look, like, let's say with Knuckles. One of the more recent story arcs out of Sonic Universe involved him. And that story arc somehow connected into what was going on with with the Crisis arc. So basically, there's a reasoning why Sonic Universe is around, because its stories at most times will connect with what's going on in the current story arc of the main comic. Like I said, Mega Man doesn't have that privilege. Mega Man doesn't have, that shot of doing something different. Or not different, but having something to fall back on as far as helping to expand the story. Sonic does. And mostly because of how big Ian Flynn has hyped up and built this Shattered World Crisis arc. There's now Sonic Unleashed, Shattered World's Crisis, Gaia Temple arc, Search for the Gaia Temple arc, whatever. Or basically this combo of Sonic, let's just put it this way, an Unleashed Lost World adaptation, or loose adaptation. With so much going on, and you can call it sort of like a Genesis arc as well, that I think in a sense Ian Flynn is trying to focus on one major story arc. True, he has other writers now he could fall back on in case it's too much for him. But when he tries to do a story arc like that, similar, or very similar in a sense, in Mega Man, he doesn't have an additional book to fall back on. He doesn't have something to where he can, have a different character or characters go on a separate adventure, if you will, and have that connect somehow to the story arc going on in the main comic, because there's no spin-off comic. Sonic has that advantage, which is why, despite how some people may come out and say, well, if any book should have been put on a hiatus, it should have been Sonic Universe. And, you got your right to your opinion in saying that, but I look at it this way. Universe could have been a choice, but like I said, I think it's because they connect so well. Well, not connect so well, but it's because of the connection it has with the main comic, its tie-ins and its story arc tie-ins to the main comic, that Archie's not going to risk that. Archie Comics is not going to take the, even though it's not doing the numbers of the main comic, they're not going to risk taking a spin-off comic that connects to the main comic in many ways and axe it or put it on hiatus, just to keep Mega Man going. They're not. I think in all honesty, the reason Mega Man is being put on hiatus is so they can, catch up on a lot of things they got the falling behind on. They can catch up on, the story arc. They can catch up and put more focus on the Shattered Worlds, Lost World, Unleashed, Gaia Temples, Genesis 3, or Genesis Wave 3 story arc they got going with Sonic in the main Sonic comic and universe. They could focus on that and not have to worry about, okay, what's the next story arc for Mega Man. So they're willing they're willing to do that. They're willing to do that, and again, it helps them catch up with things. And here's the thing, from a business standpoint, behind the scenes sometimes, having so many books that have some kind of connection or not, kind of hurts behind the scenes, because you have so many subscriptions going out that sometimes you can't focus on one or the other. And sometimes you mess up. Take, for example, myself and a lot of other subscribers got not one but 2 copies, I think of, what was it, 271 or 272, who basically the issue, 272, that's it, the issue before Part 3 of Worlds Unite and the issue that followed Part 4 of Champions, don't okay, what was I trying to say? Alright, it's a little early, so I apologize. But basically, the thing is, with 272, a lot of us subscribers got the issue twice, and we didn't know why. Sometimes we got it twice at the same time in the mail on the same day. Sometimes it was separate. And you see, I think by putting some of the titles like Mega Man on hiatus, kind of shelving it for right now, it helps them focus, not just, like I say, on keeping up and putting more focus and time on the story arc for the best-selling comic in the action series, as well as its spin-off, which, because like I say, they have a connection there, they have a tie-in. But also behind the scenes, it lets them now focus on making sure they get things right. Like if somebody's subscribing, make sure they get the subscriptions out on time. It's not about oh, they don't have a love for it, or it's not about financial troubles or anything like that. Part of it might be financial, but overall, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's just that. I mean, yeah, it does give them time to financially, you know, probably, make a little bit more money so they can keep so they can pay off licensing fees and stuff like that. And not just licensing fees for Mega Man or Sonic, but for other titles, the licensing. And again, it's not just the, I mean, think about it this way. Think about it this way. Think about it this way. They pay a certain amount of licensing fee to Capcom and Sega to do these comic book adaptations of the characters, of the main characters. How much more money do you think they had to shelve out, or they have to pay back to both Sega and Capcom just to use these additional characters for Worlds Unite? I'm just saying. And right now, the best option is to put Mega Man on hiatus while they financially, kind of pick up that tab and pay off Capcom and Sega for those licensing rights for those characters. I mean, how much do you think they had to spend just to get Street Fighter characters in there? I'm just saying. It's nothing against them hating on Mega Man. Like I said, it gives them time to, really catch up on a lot of things storyline-wise for the comics, and as well as, behind the scenes, like subscription, delivery-wise, and stuff like that as well. But also, from a creative standpoint, it helps them refreshen their minds. It's like as soon as they're all caught up on everything that I've mentioned, they can finally look at Mega Man and go like, okay, what can we do now for a story arc? What can we do now that's different, that's not been done? And who knows, maybe the next Mega Man comic coming out from them would be Mega Man X. Take a look at it this way. We've been going in that direction for quite some time. So why not do the next Mega Man comic as a Mega Man X comic? I'm just saying. It makes sense in the long run. It really does. And like I said, it goes back to what I've mentioned about Worlds Unite. You take a look at Worlds Unite, and basically it's a Mega Man / Mega Man X centric story. It's nothing more. It's nothing more. And like I said, I feel that if they bring Mega Man back, it's going to be brought back as Mega Man X. And it's nothing new for comic book companies to put certain titles on hiatus. It really isn't. I mean, the title could be doing good, sales could be great, and all that, but sometimes they have to look at something and say, okay, despite it's doing great sale-wise and everything, let's put it on hiatus because we've done as much as we can with it right now. Let's focus on the other stuff that needs to be focused on and caught up on and stuff like that as well, like I said, behind the scenes wise, and then come back maybe refreshed, revitalized, and go back to that title that we put on hiatus and see what we can do with it from a newer, more fresher perspective. So I think that's another reason, if not one of the main reasons, they put Mega Man on hiatus. It's not just because maybe they're financially, in trouble or anything like that, or it's hate towards it, or there's no specific reason for it. It's basically, I think, because they've done what they can with Mega Man for right now, and they're putting it on the shelf until they're caught up on doing what they're doing with the Sonic comic, all the other titles, get caught up behind the scenes, shipping and subscription wise. Maybe pay off what they owe Capcom and Sega, for licensing all those other characters to be in Worlds Unite. And who knows, maybe 2016 we're going to get the announcement that Mega Man's coming back, and it might be a Mega Man X comic, like I said, because if you take a look at the fact that they've been focusing on the X portion of Mega Man more than anything lately. And that was my dog. She's biting her foot because she has a flea there. But like I said, I think it's just basically to, help them catch up on everything that's going on, focus more on, like I say, the Sonic story arc going on in the main Sonic comic, as well as the spin-off, as well as catch up subscription-wise, make sure everything is shipped out correctly, no double issue subscription, no double shipping of the same issue or anything like that. Probably catch up on the financial part of paying back Sega and Capcom for the licensing of these other characters. And then maybe just refresh themselves and see what they can come back from a new perspective. And in a sense, it kind of lightens the load a little bit with Ian, because this way he doesn't have to focus on 4 additional books of, something like that. Now he could just focus on 2, and right now I think that's his primary goal, is just focus on what's going on in Sonic right now, because it's such a big deal. And it's a big deal to the point that I think this story arc is probably going to finish up in 300. I really do. So, with that said, as far as Mega Man, being put on a hiatus, I don't think he's gone forever. I think the Mega Man comic book will be back, and I think it's going to be a Mega Man X one this time. I really do. So, but that's just my thoughts on the whole thing of Archie Comics putting the Mega Man comic, of Archie putting the Mega Man comic on a hiatus in November. So, after November. So, let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I am out.